Hi guys, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. It's 2:22 as I started this video, and I have a lot of more amazing messages to give you, so please stay tuned. There's I can't even explain to you the codes that came through today. There's a lot, and I'm going to get right into it. I did want to show you just a couple pictures. Yesterday morning I was getting those alto cumulus clouds, and I took a little video which I'll probably post, but I was getting those clouds yesterday morning, and the first one when I went out there and saw was one. They're all static, and then there's just these couple clouds that are floating across without the other clouds, and the first one I saw was in the shape of an infinity, and the one I took of the little video, it kind of looks like an infinity shape, but it's not exactly like the one I saw before I taped it, of course. So I wanted to bring that up, but today and last night even, it became really clear outside, so all of them passed, and I took this picture of the moon out last night with a bird happened to fly by when I took this shot, and that was at 6:02 p.m. last night. And then I just wanted you to see the sun. Then in my room when I woke up this morning, there was these weird reflections on the wall, so I took pictures of them, and they ended up being significant. See if I can get you a good one. Anyway, you can probably get the idea of it anyway. There's like two eyes, one's reversed and one's upright, and it's a reflection in the mirror. And that feeds into some of the stuff that came through in the message today. And then lastly, I just want to show you, where is it? Well, first of all, the sun this morning. All right, check this photo out. I mean, this is the sun. I didn't do anything to this picture. I don't know how well you can see it as it translates to that picture, that one, and then there's one more I want to show you a close-up. Like this is the sun today. That was the color in it. I haven't done anything to it, and it wasn't even the reflection that comes up sometimes from the camera. It's really beautiful. So I'm going to get right into the read for today. It is March 16th, 2019. There's a lot of information here that I think is so important for people to get. So if you like the information when you hear it, please share with other people on your timeline, on your Twitter, or whatever, because I really feel like this information needs to get out to other people. It is March 16th. It is the 16 of the Tower energy today, and lots of epiphanies. And then the day adds up to 31-4, which is that 5 of Wands of expansion energy. It's that conflict, but in a good way with the Tower today. I mean, it can go either way, and I have to tell you, the whole time I'm doing my read, the past couple hours, the wind is crazy outside, just blowing. Like, I keep hearing these huge gusts of wind. It's like it's showing you the energies that are building. This is just not a normal full moon. There's a very significant happening here. So it is Saturday today, and I think I said the wrong day a couple days ago, but we never quite know which day it is. I didn't get enough sleep last night. Probably only got like 5 hours, but I'm okay. I feel good. And I definitely saw those reversed, the small eyes. So the line with the dot and then reversed was the reflection in the mirror today. And so as we start the read, it was 9:19 when I did this read. Okay, and that's 9 of the Hermit and 19 of the Sun. And the major arcana were, and this is the Sirian Starseed deck, and I have those cards for you. The Great Wheel, which is the Wheel of Fortune, Transition, which is the Death card, Divine Justice, which is the Justice card, Luna, the Moon, Karma is the Judgment card, and then the card after the read, which I always use, was Abundance, which is the Empress normally. There's 1 cup, 2 pentacles, 1 wand, and 1 sword. And again, this is the Sirian Starseed deck, so they are actually chalices, crystals, flames, and orbs. But you get the idea, okay? The only court card that came up here was the Knight of Cups. Again, wasn't that yesterday where it was 9 of Cups, and then the 9 of Cups ended the read, and then the 9 of Pentacles also comes up. It wasn't the only court card, I'm sorry. We have the Knight of Cups, the 9 of Pentacles, which is not a court card, but it often is a person for me, the Page of Swords, and the King of Pentacles. So the Knight of Cups, Page of Swords, King of Pentacles. And the numbers and the information around the coding had everything to do with nature and health. And the numbers came up, that 1010 came up again, and just 29. It wasn't a lot with the numbers today, but very important numbers. 1010 was really important, and actually 1012 also came up. 22, 4, and 13, 11. Of course, 22 is the Fool, and that will come up again later, and so will 4, and the 1010. The 1010 actually came up very apparently in the coding today. That again was all about nature and health, and the message was just simply this: 2 trills, which is that 1010 energy, and then it literally said 1010 again, which is the 1010. 2 high vibe trills, the great wheel, destiny, all around nature and health and connections. 2 tone, touchstone was coming up on the great wheel, having to do with nature and health. Again, remember that everything that happens with our cycles, whether it has to do with our physical health or not, has to do with the planet, right? The earth, and the fact that we are nature along with the earth, and that our health is everything, because without our health, right? So that was coming up as, tenfold, okay? And at 9:28, the 2-tone thing came up in the coding. So this was all about destiny, okay? The great wheel, the wheel of fortune, is about destiny, about fate. It's about good luck and a turn for the better. And we got 2 trills, and then 1010, and the great wheel. So it's all saying the same thing, because 10 is the great wheel, and 2 is the twins, and the trills are the high vibration, the TR that came up. The TR for me is also funny that I remember this, because for me, TR was code for touch tone, because I worked for Mountain Bell before they divested back in when I was living in Arizona. And every time I say touch tone now, I also get touchstone, because my statue here of the man and the woman looking into each other's eyes, well, actually she's searching the heavens for him, and he's looking sad, looking for her, and it's I forget his first name, Wilkins. You have to see his artwork. I'll have to get the exact name and put it below. But it's the man and woman searching the world for each other. It's literally the twins, and I got this many years ago. But as you go around it, the facial expressions change. So all of a sudden, like, he's looking down, and then his eyes open, and he's looking around, and it's really cool. You have to see these. I'll have to put the information below. But so that came up on the great wheel, and then as soon as I said 2-tone, Tommy 2-tone came up, and 8675309, which came up yesterday, but Tommy 2-tone didn't necessarily, just the or maybe time, I can't remember why it came up, but anyway, it came up again, which is so weird, because the 8675309 is only 2 digits off from my actual landline. So not the whole number, but my area code is 267, and this is 867, and the number here is 5309, and mine's 5308. So the 2 changes to the 8, that's the only difference, and the 8 of mine changes to the 9 in that number. So there was something significant here, so I was following this. And before I go on, I have to bring up the small eyes. Okay, so what happened here with the eyes that I saw on my wall this morning? I had a small eye, okay, the lowercase I, and the reflection of it. So you have the line and the dot. So what I was getting, because then I was shown the line between the 2 lines connects to the N, because N for me is code for Jesus, not necessarily Christ, but Jesus. And if you do that with the eyes next to each other, it creates the N, but remember the eyes next to each other is 11 also, just with a dot on either side. So if you break it down, the I by itself with the dot, this is pi in separation. Okay, you get it? This is the I. That's pi in separation. So you have 2 of those reversed from each other, reflecting each other, and then between the 11, and then the connection between it becomes Jesus, okay? So, and that connection is the space between the words. So it's pi and separation. But it goes into more information because the 11 itself, so the 0, just the reference to the 0, is source energy. So nothing, this is source, okay? This is the human body containing source, okay? This is you. And then the line down the middle is your chakra system, okay, where you need to align your masculine and feminine into one to integrate them. That's your balance, your 0 point, okay? So if you just have 2 lines, the 11, there's no human containment. It's the source energy with just the chakra lines. This is just your divine connection without the human body, okay? So it's literally pi and pi, the masculine and the feminine, with no human interference, right? No box that you're closed into. You know, you're completely free and expansive. And I just happened to write down the time at that. It was 10:19 and it was windy, crazy outside and howling. All right, so that was one message, all right? That wasn't it. There's huge stuff coming through here. So I was guided to write down the lyrics from Tommy Two Tone. Jenny, Jenny, who can I turn to? You give me something I can hold on to. I know you think I'm like the others before, who saw your name and number on the wall. All right, and then there's the song, the Writing on the Wall came up. Sam Smith, isn't it? Yeah, Writing on the Wall comes up with that as well. Jenny, I got your number. I need to make you mine. Jenny, don't change your number, 867-5309. Jenny, Jenny, you're the girl for me. You don't know me, but you make me so happy. I tried to call you before, but I lost my nerve. I tried my imagination, but I was disturbed. Jenny, Jenny, who can I turn to? For the price of a dime, I can always turn to you. Okay, so I didn't repeat all the repeated lyrics, but you get the idea. And then just generally, just some quick codings that came up were all about, when I put the coding into the system, small travel trailers, top 10 Ferris wheels, 10 best classic cars, best PC, steering wheels and pedals, and then MMG came up. So it's mostly top 10 type of stuff that came up, but also MMG from YouTube came up. 4th plus inches with 3 seconds, so 4 and 3 were coming up here, on the clock. Wheel of mutt. Maybe it's moot. Could be mutt too, though. Okay? Whichever way it syncs for you. And then EP number 10, destination number 14. And you know how when you put things into the search engine, whatever comes up in the searches highlights what you put in the coding? Well, 14 came up here highlighted, and it was not in the coding, and it's turning 14 right here. So it was just 1313, which is the portal, the transition energy, and the portal death card came up again here today in the read. So again, 14 came up. That's the angels. It's the temperance card. It's the balance between the twins. Okay, it's that higher love, right? So, like I said, all the rest of the stuff: best trail mountain bikes of 2019, camper RVs, country truck, driving songs, 10-ply tires at the tire rack, top 10 interventions that changed the world, live science. So then I opened this one. So I'm like, oh, the top 10 changes of the world, which were the top ones. So it's interesting because it's top 10, right? But it was in 11 pages. So I'm like, okay, so the introduction was the first page, which is about humans. Humans, and that the Earth was 4.5 billion years old. Ingenious species, the humans, but we've been on Earth a relatively short time compared to the 4.5 billion years of the Earth. So the 10 top 10 inventions were the wheel, the nail, the compass, printing press, internal combustion engine, and by the way, this is from Live Science, telephone, light bulb, penicillin, contraceptives, and internet, which was page 11 of 11. So, so I did the same thing yesterday that I did with a couple other things. What did I do yesterday? I can't even remember what I did yesterday, but came up 2 with Lancaster, and I got Lancelot out of that. It's like where the numbers pop, certain letters pop off the page, the space between the words. So if you get a whole bunch of different letters and just weed out the words that actually make sense, look at what's between the words, the letters that don't make up words that you recognize. So if I put the first letters together of each of those 10 things, it came up HWNCPITLPCI. And the letters that were highlighted here were H, C, L, and I. So here we have the H of the 8, which is the infinity, the 0 point, and the constant flow, the balance. Then we have C for the Christ, and L for the Lucifer, and I for the self, which is also I is 9. It's the hermit. It's the collective consciousness. So 8 is the human, the H, the 8, which is also the 4-4 put together, which is the, like I told you, is the lower octave of 8. So like 5D8 is 3D44. So H is that 44 pushed together. So we have we have C, L, and I, which I told you, Christ, Lu, and self. And then I went to write down women. And instead of women, I wrote down, not purposely, co-man. So instead of W-O, I wrote C-O. Instead of woman, co-man. Like you're equal. Co's. It was very cool. And so the other words that had come up that were clear here between those letters were pit and politically, PC, politically correct. So it came out as co-man, putting it politically correct. How cool is that? And I just go with it. However, Spirit's taking me, and definitely Jesus here guiding me, because he comes up throughout this whole read today. That's what was coming up with those 10 things. So then I numbered each thing as they come up. But human is now 1. The wheel is invention number 2. And I want to tell you what I get from that, because this is also very significant. So 1 is human, and I was getting the hue of the HU in man, since co-man just came up. And the HU is 8-3, which is a reflection of 38, which is the Queen of Cups. All right, so human is a reflection of the Queen of Cups man, all right, or co-man, the co-pilot. So number 2 was wheels, and you need wheels to go somewhere. 3 came up as the nail. Something, now with the nail, it helps you change to something else, to build, right? Because the nail, you nail something together. It's not just something, now it's together. All right, that's the third energy, right? The building. Then we go to number 4, which was the compass, where you find direction. Number 5 is print, where you tell others about it. All right, you expand to others. Number 6 comes up as combustion, the internal combustion engine. Get this. So 6 is others reflect back to you, and you explode, seeing yourself and not liking what you see, because your shadow self comes up back to you, and that's the internal combustion engine. Then 7 is the telephone, the invention of the telephone. 7, phone home. Then 8 is the light bulb, which is seeing, now you've phoned home with number 7, which could be your mother, by the way. And then you get to 8, which is light, which is lighting things up, the epiphany. Now you are able to not only connect with home, but see home and be human. 9 then is penicillin, which you've now received to make yourself better after talking to mom and getting a cure for your problems. Number 10 came up as contraception, and this was very cool. And 10 is the high vibration, the GI, the grounding and integrating, is to hold back the rest. Hold back to rest. So contraception was broken up into contraception. So contra is, a contradiction, contrary to, reflection of, right? And then ception literally means a train inside of a train inside of a train inside of a train. It means layering or nesting. Sound familiar? Dimensional? Okay. It means also the title, the chapter, 3, movie, TV, scene, text that is superimposed on the film and projected onto the screen. All right, so contrary to dimension. And then so you have contra and ception, and what's in the middle? A. A is the human with connection. That little comma is connection. Okay? So you have contrary to the human connection. All right, so contraception is contrary to the human connection to multi-dimensions, layering and nesting. So you're not allowing the connection to multi-dimensions, layering and nesting by using contraception. Okay, then we go to 11. So 11 is the internet. So now that you've had the contraception, was the grounding and integrating, time to hold back and to rest. Contraception, holding back. Now we have 11 of the internet to tell the world about it and turn the page. Internet. Okay? Inter and net. What does a net look like? The spider web, the grid, the collective consciousness. The internet is the internet. Okay? So the internet becomes your collective consciousness. It literally is. It's all of the people in the world collected. All right. So how perfect was that? So then I also got from contradiction is it's a breach of duty. So with the contraception, you're blocking your duty by allowing the energy to come in. But get this, because I forward this into the abortion issue, and this is what comes up here. So since that's contradiction of human connection to multi-dimensions of layering and mastering, blocking source from connecting, it's basically saying no to God. Okay, so then I went to the abortion issue and I broke up abortion. A is the first letter of abortion, which I just told you is the human connection. When the human connection is boring, B-O-R, boring, when the human connection is a bore, we use the T, abortion T, which I told you is the anchor. A human connection is boring. Anchoring and grounding, so when you're bored of anchoring and grounding, then you go to ion. So what does ion do? It connects, it expands you. Okay? So, oh, and you have the or in there too. I'm sorry. The or is, A is the human, B is the two humans connected, because you have two heads on the connection, but they're not aligned. Okay? That's why they're bored. And then you have the T of grounding and anchoring. You're tired of grounding and anchoring this misalignment of connection. And so you look for ion expansion. Okay, so that's what abortion is. Abortion is the choice. So this is big, all right? Choice. So it's saying that it's wrong to use conception and block the pregnancy, but it is not wrong to choose which option to go, which path. Because remember, this isn't about judgment of what decisions people make. It's about the choice and expanding. Okay, it doesn't matter, we already talked about, murderers and all that kind of stuff. It's about us staying neutral from the situation, because we're all here to experience different things. We've all been the murderers. We've all been the victims. We've all been the raped and the raped, okay? The rapist and the raped person, okay? We have experienced all of these energies, and if you don't believe in past lives, it doesn't matter. You have 14 generations of DNA in your body. You carry everything from at least 14 generations back. So you have been all of these things, and this is why you may receive retribution that you don't understand, all right, because it's in your lineage. So it was coming to me very clear that this was all about choice. It wasn't about being good or bad. It's about expanding, which this whole journey is about, the light and the shadow that you are both, and you're staying at 0 point to be on the airing to the side of the light, okay? But staying neutral, not extreme, positive, okay? Because then you're polarized and you're pinning one against the other. You're choosing, you're taking sides. And we're not doing that anymore, okay? So, and I'm sure I'll hear a lot about that with the abortion thing, which is fine. I'm just telling you what I'm getting, okay? So choice was such a big thing. Oh, and then all right. So then for some reason, yesterday, the day before, I'd written down 144 because I wasn't writing 144. I was writing down 14 of the Temperance card and 4 of the Emperor, because remember the other day when 4 was coming up like crazy, the Emperor, and 4 of the structure and what 4 means around us, the 4 seasons and all that kind of thing. The nature of this. So I had noticed the other day when I wrote down 14 and 4, and I had also written down 28, which is the 2 of Wands or the twins, and the 8, because we write down the infinity all the time. But this creates a pattern, okay? So I'm going to show you the diagram here so you get what I'm talking about by visualization, okay? So you have that there. You have the 14 and 4, 144. But instead of doubling 144, we're doubling 14 and we're doubling 4. So we go from 14 to 28, and we go from 4 to 8. And then we don't double, but we add 14 and 4 again to get 42 and 12, and so on and so on. 56 and 16, and then 70 and 20. Well, 70 in my oracle cards is heaven, right? It's the end of the cycle of that book. And 20 is final judgment. So this is the end of the cycle. And if you go back and write this down, the 144, 288, which is the 144, and then 144 plus 144 is 288. But 288 and 288 is 576, not 5616. So it doesn't work by adding the whole number. It works by separating them and adding them. The 14, 28, 42, 56, 70, and the 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. And so if you line these up, you also note, if you note the Tarot and you know numerology from the Divine Triangle, that 14 is the Temperance card, but it's also 2, because it's the balance, it's the divine love of balancing the 2 cups, the two rails basically. Then you go to 28, which is the 2 of Wands, and then 42 is the 2 of Cups, 56 is the 2 of Swords, and 70 is the 2 of Pentacles. So you see the pattern here? And I didn't go there by the 2s of the deck. I backed into them through these numbers that I was getting, which then I was getting definitions for each. So 14 and 4, and the 2 of the Temperance card, of the 14, is all about the Emperor, all right, number 4, the patience, the control. Patience is control. That was the point. The Emperor is who he is because he has patience. That's why he's in control. 28 was coming up as with 8, which is power and strength, and 28 is what? It's the Y in the road. It's choice. Pro-choice. All right, the power and the strength is in your choices. But wait. Then we go to 4212, which is the 2 of Cups and 12 of the Hangman, wisdom. And the Two of Cups is all about connection. Okay, so with connection, there is wisdom. Then we go to the 56 and 16, which is the Two of Swords, which is about being in your knowing, which equates to 16 of the Tower and epiphanies. And then we go to the 70 with 20, and that's 70 is Two of Pentacles. And the Sirian Starseed deck is surrender. And surrender is judgment. Allowing Source to decide. Okay? So you have patience, choice, it's always your decision, but then connection is the wisdom, connecting to your higher self, being in your knowing, allowing your epiphanies to come in, and then surrendering to judgments, to allow Source to decide by going with the flow and following your guidance. Okay? So how cool. All right. So as we continue and I turn the page, it was 1029, which is the Three of Wands, to 30, which is the union energy of the Four of Wands. But also the number from the deck came up was 12, which is that wisdom again. So what starts here is the twins. We have the Knight of Cups, but the Two of Flames was beneath it, and I use that card. So this is what we start out with as the underlying energy. The 12 of wisdom of the twins, one of two, the Knight of Cups in a tidal wave of emotion coming their way after resisting change of lovers affecting, now clear on what I must do. If you could see how blue her eyes would be when she says she loves me. And I couldn't think of the song when I wrote that. I knew it was a song, but I couldn't think of which song it was. All right, so that was coming up there. So after the masculine, after resisting change of the lovers and the affections of that, is now clear on now what I must do. To boldly go where others fear to tread. The impossible dream. And so that comes up again. So then the sun brightened outside, and it was 10:35, the wounded warrior, Mary Magdalene. The King of Pentacles is out thinking. Limp left wrist, and tryst was coming up here. As the sun rises, the energy pointing at the clouds, the altocumulus clouds, aroused by his dark reflection that have a lot of shadow in them, okay, expanding to the full moon, the lobster afraid to tempt fate. Even the dogs are scared of this moon, the infinite road. And then I was getting Neil Diamond. Diamond? It's a long, long road with many a winding turn that lead us to who knows where. And this was at 10:39. And 39 is the Knight of Cups, okay? It's a long, long road with many a winding turn that leads us to who knows where. Who knows where. But I'm strong, strong enough to carry him. He ain't heavy. He's my brother. Spirit's connecting. It's making me cry. So on we go. His welfare is of my concern. No burden is he to bear. We'll get there, for I know he would not encumber me. He ain't heavy. He's my brother. If I am laden at all, I am laden with sadness that everybody's heart isn't filled with the gladness of love for one another. It's a long, long road from which there is no return. While we're on our way to there, why not share? And while we're on our way to there, why not share? And the load doesn't weigh me down at all. He ain't heavy, he's my brother. And that was at 10:44, which is the mastering of it. So then now one of the dogs is coming to him for advice. All right, so the dogs that were scaring him before are now turning around and cowering and coming up to the little lobster and getting advice from him. I was getting Bart Simpson at this point, with the clouds rolling by, aroused by the clouds, the masculine, the sun, and when the man in the moon gets in his way, the lobster becomes up in arms. Okay, so it's referencing to the full moon. Bart Simpson, right? The impish boy. And the clouds in the beginning of the show. Clouds rolling by, where the boy is aroused by the clouds. and the sun. When the man in the moon gets in his way, like an eclipse, when the moon eclipses the sun, it's the same. Last night the moon was out in daylight, and he knows that this full moon is going to be in his way because it's the full reflection of his shadow self back to him, which makes him angry. The lobster becomes up in arms. The big dogs wonder what's gotten into him. So powerful and strong, now they must cater to him. Thumbtack, thumbnail, false light in the sky. And that is getting Lucy in the sky with diamonds, as opposed to Neil Diamond, who's real and true. The moon obstruction, even in the light of day, where the moon was out last night, always in the way. Caveman 2D energy must buckle down with modern shoes and laces and break in the new shoes by dancing in the streets on cement and hard dirt. The shoes are good. They protect my feet. Upgrades, keeping up with the times, yet keeping it simple, yet civilized. Not caveman. No bam bam. Being the mediator, staying balanced, not taking sides and building stone walls around us. Both sides green, but the mediator gets the pond because they've got emotion on their side, the feelings. Even the scum of the earth are his brothers, the lobster's brothers in the pond below. If he stresses me out, I leave and go on vacation. After all, pond scum is just molehills when the emotions run dry. Don't have to make a mountain of it. He's a pain in the ass, but he's my brother. However, we don't deal in money anymore. If someone treats you right, great. But if not, they can go away and come back when they've changed. Okay, so this started out with the pond scum is 57, which is the 3 of Swords, the separation, the third-party heartbreak. Love me freely or don't love me at all. Whistleblower tells the truth. If you take it as a middle finger, then that's on you. That's your wound to clear, because I've told the truth. That's at 11:01. And the wind was gusting still. It still is now. It's crazy today. The sovereign is out watching the birds. Spiritual fool, exposing the Knight of Pentacles offer or proposal to lobster and dogs at the full moon. The sovereign, so it's coming up as like the sovereign and crowning the reed. So we have first in the I didn't even get there yet. The sovereign is out watching the birds. Spiritual fool, as the feminine could be seen, exposing the Knight of Pentacles, or the masculine hard worker, his offer or proposal, or her offer or proposal to lobster and or the dogs at the full moon. So it goes both ways, okay? It could be her offer to him and his to the dogs, or whatever. Whatever's coming up at this full moon, which will be explosive, because it's his light coming back at him. But now he knows it's his shadow side. Sovereign his sunshine, as he is breaking foolish contracts or divorcing, lacking faith, but being that faithful workhorse to move forward and set the pace, the slow pace, now that it's spring and sunny. I am the sun, not the moon. What are they talking about? This reflection of the moon. I feel good now, right? So unrequited love came up here. So unrequited love, broken down, is the Holy Grail, or Jesus, and the Holy Grail and Jesus. He reaches out to her cups and then quit, and ED. Quit extra dimensionals. All right, and then I'm getting Mr. Ed, talking horse head. Right, talking heads came up yesterday. Well, today, talking horse heads coming up, Mr. Ed. Okay, so unrequited literally translates out to Holy Grail of Jesus. He reaches out, like that cradling of the R that I told you about yesterday, cradles the divine feminine. He reaches out to her and cups her and quits the extra dimensions. Okay, and then I got Mr. Ed for the ED, talking horse head. A horse is a horse, of course, and no one can talk to a horse, of course. That is, of course, unless the horse is the famous Mr. Ed. Extra dimensionals, ETs, okay? Go right to the source and ask the horse. He'll give you the answer that you'll endorse. He's always on a steady course. Talk to Mr. Ed. People yakety yak a streak and waste your time of day. But Mr. Ed will never speak unless he has something to say. A horse is a horse, of course, and this one'll talk till his voice is hoarse. You've never heard of a talking horse? Well, listen to this. I am Mr. Ed. Extra dimensional ETs, okay? And that's source. So unrequited love, love that needs to be quit. Again, clearly, unrequited, re-quit. But they didn't re-quit. Unrequited love. Requitted, but hasn't. Love that needs to be quit again and be clear about it. So someone who keeps coming back over and over again, they need to put their foot down and be clear. Mr. Ed, ETs, EDs, other dimensions. So then the underlying energy here for the masculine was unrequited love. And underneath that was worth waiting for, unrequited love. Finally quitting that extra dimension that keeps coming back again and again. And then I was getting peace out. All right, so the right elbow arm to the left hip laying on the floor, so I was getting a stretch to do. Right elbow to left hip laying on the floor with your knees up and bent and open slightly. And left wrist limp, so it's just saying to relax your left arm. Truth on the wall. New love is out also. The World Cup and a brush off the edge or the ledge. So someone might have received a brush off and feel like they're on the edge or the ledge. But the World Cup was coming up. I don't even know what sports events are coming up right now, but World Cup came up. World Cup is the Holy Grail, filled with compassion and raspberry on top as opposed to a cherry. And then I was getting the Holy Grail is filled with compassion and the raspberry on top. Okay? A handle on each side to grab and to hold on to. Love handles. In the fall, all the leaves were brown, dun dun dun, and the sky was gray. Okay? I've been for a walk on a winter's day. This is in the fall, so now we're getting into the seasons. I'd be safe and warm if I was in LA. LA. And if you translate that, it can be LA, which could be L is, what came up the other day? And it wasn't Lucifer, it was, I have to look back at that. But I'm getting here that even the capitals, is that Lucifer is just referencing the shadow side, and then A in the small is, well, A is one, but also in the small it's that human containment with connection. So it's your shadow connection. But if you use the lowercase L and A, it's literally I with human connection. So it's your direct connect, okay? California dreaming on such a winter's day. Stopped into a church I passed along the way, got down on my knees and pretend to pray. You know the preacher likes the cold, because he knows I'm going to stay. California dreaming on such a winter's day. If I didn't tell her, I could leave today. California dreaming on such a winter's day. And I was getting connection with that. Okay, so this is still all underlying energy for the read. So we turn the page, it's 1131 to 1132, which is the Five of Wands and the Six of Wands, right? Expansion and going on the journey. The High Priestess is with the keys and codes. And here comes more codes coming up for you. We got two keys in the picture of the High Priestess here. They got two circles, right? The human contained, and a key has a stalk below. So again now, class, what is this? Pi out of alignment, okay, is a key. But a key also has the little pieces on the end. You know, when you see the big old keys, they got the two, they've double connections on the bottom of them. But what good are those connections if you're out of alignment, okay? If you're not in alignment and you're over here, even though you have those little commas at the bottom and you have that connection to maybe a great wealthy, political connections, whatever it is, what good are they if you are not aligned with source, okay? Whoops. Like that, pi. And if you notice too, if you bring yourself back into alignment and add a little connection at the bottom, that's pi. A little connection on the bottom, okay? So, the High Priestess with the keys and the codes in the spring connection for hot summer dreamin', reunion with egg and dessert and ribbon to boot. Longing for the past, bells on her fingers and toes, or ankles anyway, making him purr with her feet on his belly and paws to correct twisted tails with compassion, pink materials, and green, she's very natural, and gray and white fur. Defenseless to her charms, cracking and ribbing and smoothing things out, the masculine, vibrating chest, energy placed in scars, who knew it would go so far? Tiptoeing around and gift of 2 keys, making googly eyes like lovebirds, high on the flower petals and desserts left on the stones, chair, table, and container for special things. Right knee bent, matching, heel, toe, and ankle, cranberries and cuticles, and lots of greens coming together for, and I was getting all sorts of things here around 4. So a 40-year reunion. For some, it could be a high school reunion or a college reunion. A 4-year reunion with your twin. 40-day reunion, right, with Lent. All of this stuff is coming up around April. The Emperor, number 4, which we just went over the other day. But now we're adding 3, which is who? The Empress. The Emperor is the sun, the masculine. The 3 is the Empress, the feminine, of the earth, the Gaia, not the moon, the earth. All right, so then we get the 4 and 3 here. And play with your numbers of like when you and your twin met. So if I add the day that I first contacted my twin, that day adds up to 38, which is my soul number. The next day he returned my first contact, and the day added up to his soul number. And the day that we physically met added up to 17. And it's the card of, so it adds up to 17, but the date actually that we met also physically is the card, the 4 of Swords, which is that 5D connection. So it's very cool how this comes up. So now we have the 4 and the 3 of the Emperor and the Empress, the Sun and the Earth. April 3rd, 2019 equals none other than 19, the Sun. So April 3rd comes up as 19, the Sun. And then, of course, April showers bring May flowers. So a lot of emotions in April to bring the flowers and new growth in May. 3/6 came up as the first day of Lent. But I also have a baby shower on April 6th, which is then April showers, right? 2019 of the Sun. And that day actually adds up to 22, which is the Fool's journey, the Fool's leap of faith. So then we go back to the whole cycle that I brought up the other day of April 18th being the full moon and the crucifixion. And I think I said this incorrectly because I was talking about tax day and then 3 days later was the rising. It's not. 3 days later is actually the crucifixion, and then 3 days is the rising after that. So the crucifixion comes up here on April 18th as 34, the 18th, 19th, and 20th. 34, 35, and 36, which is the end of the wand energies. It's the 8 of Wands, 9 of Wands, and 10 of Wands, all the burdens, right, as they build up and then drop. Okay, the wounded warrior on the cross. And then the 10, where he can't take it anymore, and he dies, okay? And then you come up to the next day, which is April 21st, which is the resurrection, the 3 days after, and it's 37 of the King of Cups, unconditional love. And it doesn't match up this way every year. So this year's very important, I'm telling you. 4/15 was 31, that expansion energy of the tax man, right? Paying back what you owe from Lent, what was Lent on March 6th. And that's tax day, which is all about Scorpio stuff. And then 18, like I said, is 34, 35, 36 of the crucifixion, and up to 421 of 37 of the rising of unconditional love. So now a pattern comes up here. We have Lent, we have taxman paybacks, we have crucifixion, and then we have rising again. So what goes along with each of those, and notice there's 4. Lent adds up to 21 this year. 3, 6, 19 is 21. Okay, that's completion. And it's coming up as also teaching. And then 415 is tax day, paybacks. Comes up as 31. The expansion energy, the taxman, where you need to learn. Be taxed, you learn, and make mistakes. Then we go to 418, which adds up to 34, which is that 8 of Wands, that passionate exchange of energy, which is the crucifixion, which is also execution. To execute, go forth, be crucified. That's also the fall. Okay? And then we get 21, and Spirit's connecting with me. So execute is to do. That's the crucifixion, do. And then the rise, 421, which is on 37, the King of Cups, is the resurrection, restitution, correcting your errors, to try again. Teach, learn, make mistakes, go forth and try again. And then they go further, that teach is spring, expand, new moon. All right, so the tax day is learn, make mistakes, contract, summer, half moon, waxing. The execution, or the crucifixion, is to go forth in the fall, which is the purge and the full moon. And then we have the resurrection, the rising again, the restitution, the correction, to try again, the winter, the grounding and integrating, the half moon waning back up to the new moon. So then we have, if you get where I'm going now here, how does energy work? It works in loops, in cycles, right? So, as we start from the bottom and we want to learn, we go up in expansion. Then we contract back a little bit in order to purge and integrate on our way back up to the next cycle. Cool? And that's the loop. That's the loop effect, okay? So I brought that together with you in like 4 different ways that all work perfectly in synchronicity. So, and then, of course, I end up writing down the numerology card, underlying energy, rebirth. Underneath that was communication, 33. Rebirth is 16, the Tower of Epiphanies and sudden changes. And 33 is that Christ energy of standing your ground, standing up for yourself without being defensive. 33. And that was at 12:09. All right, so this is not the end of it. It's at 12:12 now where I start the read again. And we're still in the underlying energies, where the Page of Swords is coming up as the privileged boy. And I love it in this deck because he looks all like, I didn't do it, I didn't do it. He's got that innocent face but guilty at the same time. It's great. It's a great look on that face. The privileged Page of Swords, which doesn't have to be a boy, it can be a boy or a girl, is feeling guilty, out looking sad but mischievous, out praying on the other side as an adult. The dark birds will go away, okay, and grieving about it, juggling 2 energies with his eyes in high vibration, focused with his inner child, wanting to feel the rainbow, but can't keep up the pace or the facade, and is depressed, losing hope. There may be a blue snow globe with the memories comes up here, blue snow globe memories around the depression and losing hope, and finally collapses physically and or confesses, doesn't know what hit him, deer in the headlights, and this all started at 12:12, which is all about the hangman and wisdom, right? The hangman of the crucifixion coming up. Doesn't know what hit him. Deer in the headlights, may have even hit or run into a deer or deer one. Grass and mold, penicillin comes up here, suspended or suspended animation, 1 frame at a time, all the way down the line. Now take this figuratively but also literally. So this is as the false powers fall, 1 frame at a time, all the way down the line. Black man's revenge, Atlanteans, Lemurians, and dolphins. The animal kingdom is closing in around him, the masculine, and now it's 1221, like the movie Frogs. So for those of you who haven't seen the movie Frogs, because I saw it when I was 13 in a double feature with a movie Blackula, which was an awful movie. It wasn't done well at all. But the Frogs movie was creepy, and we watched that whole thing. Actually, I think we left in the middle of Blackula. But I was 13. This was back in junior high school. And Frogs was really creepy because it was about this family, and I forget the story, but they were on this island in the jungle where all of a sudden the animals revolted, basically, against the family that was there. And they end up taking over the house, the frogs, because they get together with all the rest of the animals because they join forces. So, and Spirit's connecting with me about that. So there's grass and water everywhere in the swamplands. 2 pictures of sunflowers that are wet. Memories frozen in time to make sure he didn't forget. Once the emotions are all dried up, the flowers come out, but not before the dead weeds have all been cleaned up. Sunrise, sunset, and then I was just getting tradition, okay? Sunrise, sunset, new moon about to get its revenge. The deer hunter. Michael, Nick, and Stephen were 3 buddies from a steel mill in Clairton, PA, which happens to be where I am in Pennsylvania, who deer hunt with 3 other friends, who then the first 3 enlist to Vietnam, and they are captured and forced to play Russian roulette to amuse the guards. They escape. Mike goes home, but finds out then that Nick stayed in Vietnam and Stephen lost 2 legs and an arm. No more deer hunting. Mike returns to rescue Nick. Mother Nature teaches us a lesson. Blue, green, and red and brown, blue bird, green giant, red head, brown man, all God's creatures. The divine masculine can no longer carry his burdens for his family, doing all the work, all night sometimes, a never-ending road as the whistleblower. It's a long, long road. So that comes up again. It's a never-ending road as the whistleblower. Choo choo, and choo's my son's nickname, but that was coming up as the whistleblowing, the horn. Now able to see the light at the end of the tunnel vision. The ocean on the other side of the horseshoe portal, and the ocean is always the emotions, the big emotions. On the other side of the horseshoe portal, which is what? The horseshoe portal is Omega, the 24th and final Greek letter. The symbol is like an eye. It's an almond shape. All right, that's the symbol of the Greek letter Omega. The value is 800. Okay, 2 heads and an infinity. So the Omega is, it's a horseshoe with the 2 ends on either side as a capital letter, but the lowercase letter for Omega is W. Originally the Greek is W with an arc and a comma, which is connection. So it's the rainbow. Ah, I love that. Kermit the Frog, the Rainbow Connection. Do you remember that song from the first Muppets movie when he's in the lily pond and we have the pond scum here? And I love that. Kermit riding his bike. When you saw that for the first time, it was so cute. Oh, that's so funny. I'm just remembering. That might have been a first date or something, right? Kermit. Now that I'm remembering. All right, so we have the W with the rainbow connection. I love how they bring the Muppets into this. Okay, so rainbow connection. I'll have to look at the words again for that. And then it just shows the formal word for Omega, that it brought the initial W to the word that it used in Greek to spell it out, and then they became one word. They came together. So it's saying Omega is the end of the alphabet. It's number 24. It's the Queen of Wands. End equals incomplete. End is half of the wounded warrior. It's either wounded or warrior. It's not both integrated. just wounded, or just warrior. There's a source leak. The 24, Queen of Wands, the shadow of 42, which is the Two of Cups, the connection of seeing eye to eye. It's the opposite. It's the shadow of that. A broken chakra system that's not aligned, giving the world the middle finger instead of expanding self, focusing on their appearance, their boobs and butts instead. Remember, the most beautiful people get all the attention, and this is their cross to bear. All that conflicting energy constantly aimed at them, either lusting after them or picking them apart so that others feel better about themselves. Be careful for what you wish for. You may just get it. Better to have one amazing true connection of love, which is blessed. Look before you leap and always get right back in the saddle again. And then I was getting a big connection when I was actually writing this. I'm getting connection constantly here as well. But get right back up on the horse when you fail and try again. Move on. And then I was getting softly, slowly, hold me closer, tiny dancer. And then pull back or isolate the full moon if you can. The full moon, unrequited love, and then reunion and rebirth to follow with the crucifixion and the resurrection. And then I was getting where you go, I will follow. And then my mail was coming up. My mail came up to 8,000 today. And then 8,008. And it ended up on 8,023 because you can't go to 24. There is no end. And 23 is the King of Wands. He can't go to the Queen of Wands because the Queen of Wands will end. That's karmic. That's 3D. And we are never ending. We are forever expanding. You don't end at 24. You keep going. So, and I was also guided to the number below 8,000 because 7999, it came up checks unlimited. Okay? Check, 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 forever. That your connection has unlimited checks. All of the boxes get checked. Okay, so we're not even like into the read yet here. I can't believe I'm at an hour already. I'm sorry, this is going to be a long one, but it's important. All right, so 1255, which is 55 is the Ace of Swords, the truth. The Leo can't find peace. The recent past is the Ten of Crystals, the family card. Leo can't find peace and won't release their emotions. Giving up on love is no longer worth it for them. Stuck with the kids or an opportunity to start over their career with their extended family. The Knight of Cups only half of a whole at the end because he's missing his twin connection. A lot of emotions to purge at the full moon. 35, Wounded Warrior. Moon, because it's March 20th, 2019, which adds up to 35, the Wounded Warrior. The foundation is the portal transition. Okay, we have the transition card, the death, the change, transition, transformation. That's the foundation. It's the portal transition, high vibration. Being happy alone, not expressing feelings. Now that the worst of the pain is over for the masculine with unrequited love and the full moon issues coming up here, the false light reflection of the masculine in his karmic partner, the part of him he doesn't want to see. And that was at 101. And then I wrote down C, which is funny because C is for the center, the central energy for the read. That is the Ten of Wands, his burdens. Okay, coming up from the dungeon, seeing the light, dropping his burdens, confessing. Okay, this is the energy coming up. It's also that of the Wounded Warriors 35. The 36 is that Ten of Wands, the burdens that are now dropped because he can't take it anymore. So you'll either end up in the hospital or he'll confess. Uncomfortable emotions, out of control, with the wind gusting outside, detoxing, letting go of addictions, codependence, and breaking chains that bind. The Queen of Wands separation, and at work with the King of Cups, which I don't think is the masculine here, but it could be for some. But he comes up as a different king, okay? So the King of Wands separation at work with the King of Cups, who the masculine may work with, who's purging in that Nine of Swords energy, stressing, so you could be crying or stressing at work, with new projects coming in, but letting go of them. The challenge being here, the wheel, the destiny. the journeying forward without negative self-talk, without his inner child, negative self-talk. Downloads to the divine feminine and letting go to patch things up. This is the challenge for the masculine. Tic-tac-toe, 3 strikes you're out. Grieving flame by taking walks in the mountains. To GI, to ground and integrate announcements and make nice to the Queen of Wands, no longer helping with work, so she may not be coming to work anymore, and now his workload's increasing his burden, but he's dropping it all. Exposing his part in avoiding his twin, confessing, carrying a torch, and fantasy reflection of a red couch, and getting his wish, his happiness in union, which is now at 111. Okay, so this is the destiny, his challenge. Crowning now his sovereign. Okay, inspiring the wounded warrior by offering love through their connection, a new life in the aftermath, where he's limp and weak and physically tax season, unable to sleep, knowing a prisoner or rising above his own prison, seeing her happy on her own and standing up for herself to the Capricorn or the devil or him, her shadow self, exposing her twin to the Queen of Wands karmic, the sexual energy between them, the King of Cups family man avoiding by walking away. So this can be different personas of the masculine, okay? So the King of Cups coming up as the family man avoiding by walking away and going within, telling his love story and longing for his flame, getting caught with his pants down by family and partner's rejection at home, confessing dreams and healing, sweets and tweets and heartstrings that were tugged, plucked and pulled, and strumming his pain with her fingers, killing him softly with her song. Thinking she was the Dark Empress and stalking both ways, him and her, and envious and jealousy, seeing each other with other people. So this is the masculine's perspective here, right? He thinking that his feminine was the Dark Empress initially, and that they were both stalking each other, and envious and jealousy issues here, seeing each other with other people. So soon, because remember, you reflect each other. So if you saw your masculine online, he was probably seeing you online as well. That kind of thing, but in a different way. It just comes from different perspectives. So, and what was it, 11:11? Seeing his wish, getting his wish, his happiness and union was at 111. So then we turn the page, it's 119, which is the sun again. Soon for the masculine is the Page of Swords, depressed, okay, the Seeker of Orbs, or the Page of Swords, depressed, stuck in chaos of family. This also doesn't have to be the masculine. This could be a child, or it could be an Aquarius, or a Cancer partner or family member. This Page of Swords, depressed, stuck in chaos of family, or without a car, or transportation if it's a kid. Destined to be insincere and jealous child. So this could be the karmic, or it could be one of the kids, or it could be his inner child. Fantasizing of her pain, of seeing him with another. So him seeing this, if it's him, it's like him fantasizing about his karmic, becoming jealous because she's seeing him with another, like paybacks, you know, our bitch is coming up. Jealousy tower moment when the harsh truth comes out about his union. He is the King of Pentacles. He is coming up as the Master of Crystals, right? The crystal skull, the Akashic records. With a message of love, a small offering in need of an opportunity to pay back his debt, make restitution, and or for his kids, maybe his kids did something wrong and they need to make restitution. One child may be loving, the other ungrounded. If you have children, if not, it just has to do with the different masculine and feminine energies. One child may be loving, but the other is coming up as ungrounded and not doing well in school, not doing what they're told. The cards that came up here from Romance Angels were attraction for the masculine, healing family issues, past life relationship, chemistry. Yes, there's a magnetic attraction here, and then children as affecting your love life. Around him, or the divine masculine, or how he's seen, is that justice rings for the King of Pentacles, injustices, with the King of Cups reversed in family or court. And the King of Cups reversed can be detached and manipulative. So in family or court, justice is blind and unfair when they're emotionally detached and manipulative, people that you're against, okay? Clear blocks for the masculine of the full moon or nighttime issues. Coming together at work with the King of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles, maybe at night, having a block about coming together with someone at night, or at the full moon, worried that it'll explode, like if you come together and try to work things out now and under the full moon. But coming together at work, the King of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles on a mission to co-create or a ceremony of some kind. So maybe there's something that the masculine wants to invite the feminine to, but he knows it's at night at the full moon or something like that, and he's worried about that. But they're saying to clear your blocks about that. Follow your guidance. The masculine may need to clear issues around his church, not accepting his divine feminine, and or requiring her to convert or get baptized of some sort like that. Nature, health, and even more so for the masculine that comes up here is follow your dreams. The Queen of Cups with new life, comfort, and the Knight of Cups, fantasy. Karma, but Kermit is coming up here too, because I wrote it in a weird way. Kermit. Karma and the lotus opening to abundance is the outcome energy here, or the solution to the issue. Because there's a final judgment here. The lotus is opening to abundance. So there's 2 Empresses and 2 Queen of Cups coming up. One is the Dark Empress with the Queen of Cups reversed, and the other, and it was just 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then the 2, 2 came up. Okay, so this is important. The other one is the positive abundance card, Empress, with the Queen of Cups upright as the divine feminine. So there's 2 Empresses, and they could be other people. They could be mothers and mother-in-laws in your life, one good one and one bad one, okay? So someone definitely has that going on. But there's 1 dark and 1 light, okay? So 2 Empresses and 2 Queen of Cups, connected via karmic lessons and retribution or restitution, ending their connection and purging cycles now with this ending final judgment. Now Aquarian Dark Empress with the Queen of Cups reversed, who's either really over emotional or manipulative, is third party. Now they become the third party, while crowning open to abundance for awakened one. The Queen of Cups reverse got taken in a fight for the truth, a battle, a quest, a competition of wits and jealousies and spying and separation, while the Queen of Cups upright with new life of abundance, unaware of the passionate movement in the aftermath of deception. The truth is out, Excalibur, about insecurities and juggling, doing the dance, using low vibration, Stone Age energy, with the Queen of Wands without option, but to be in lack. So the Queen of Wands coming up here as no options but to go into lack or go crazy on him, unstable and or moving, so that he can connect with his twin at the peak. Okay, so that's the peak of the clarifiers of the last card, was literally the 2 of Cups, which is the shadow of the 24, okay, of the Queen of Wands. So the Knight of Cups in tidal wave of emotion, hiding his twin, going through transition portal as the King of Pentacles is dealing with the justice system, with family burdens, challenged by destined message from the full moon, reflection of the sovereign Earth Mother opening her crown once more to her abundance and her connection with him. I think that's it. That's it for the read. Okay. Oh my gosh. So divine justice is here. Okay, that was around the masculine, or how he is seen. The blocks that he needs to clear is about the tidal wave of emotion at the full moon, if he's got something, a function that day that he wanted to include the feminine in. And then this is the outcome card of karma, and behind that was abundance. All right, this is the good witch as opposed to the bad witch from the Wizard of Oz. I told you this journey is all about the Wizard of Oz. Okay, and second reference the karmic and the twin flame, but also can reference the mother and the mother-in-law. Okay, so I'm going to read you. This came in the mail the other day, or last week, or whatever it was. So I think I'm going to read you that as well, and then we'll pull a few oracle cards. I still have a little bit of time. I know it's going long, but it's not as bad as I thought it would be. So today we're at day today's the 16th. So today's Saturday the 16th. It's day 11, justice. The gospel readings from Matthew 5:43 to 48. Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Matthew 5:44b. My offering to God today, I will pray for someone who has wronged me. Okay? Perfect. Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. And Choo-Choo came up again today because my son is Matthew. And that synced yesterday. Okay. Let's see what we have. I'm going to show you the pictures before I forget because I know this is going long. This came up during the shuffling, so I wanted to show it to you. This is the basic read for today. And then this is the main read, the full read. Okay. All right, let's see what we have for the cards here. We have Ascension deck. I told you a lot came up. Pretty cool, huh? All right, take a deep breath, you guys. I know that was a lot to take in. If you have any questions or comments, please do so below. If you would like to connect with me, my website, my email are below. They're both twinflames3344 at .com and at gmail.com. If you'd like your energy portrait done, you can see my go to my website if you want, or you can see my on my YouTube site the different icons. There's one of me and my daughter that I did the energy signatures. I'm getting a psychic signature. It's not just me doing some artwork on your picture that you send me. I'm getting a psychic signature for you, and then expanding on that creatively. And also, I will give you a message, psychic message along with that, or I can incorporate the message that comes, the download I get for you, into the picture as well. And also the twin eyes merged is if you have a picture of you and your twin and you want me to merge the pictures together for you, I can do that as well, okay? It's pretty cool to see how perfectly you fit together as one. Okay. Take another deep breath, and we're definitely going to go to Jesus and Mary Magdalene today, since they were definitely in the read. They were giving me all these messages. This March 16, 2019, for everyone watching, in the best and highest good of all is concerned. What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? This is posed to Jesus and Mary Magdalene, please. What is our guidance? Ah, 3 and 3. The Sphinx is at the bottom. That one come out? Yeah. Oh, 3 and 3. Oh, this is for a number. Okay. Alright. The Sphinx is at the bottom of the deck, number 20, which is Judgment, which is definitely the outcome card today, is all about Judgment, 20. And the 20th is coming up with the full moon, and 2020 is coming up next year, so it's big about the Sphinx and the Akashic records here. The affirmation is I connect to the God force within the Sphinx. Connect to your higher self. The cards that came up, I'm not going to read all of them. I have a lot of cards here. The Sun, of course, came up here, but in this deck, the Sun is number 10. And you can always read these cards, too, if I show them to you on the snapshot. Okay? We have the Moon, number 11. Okay? And then we also have Air, number 12, which is Wisdom. 11 is Justice. Oh, we have, there's no way, I mean, I haven't aligned these cards at all. This is 10, 11, 12. This is the what's the word? The higher level, like, so in numerology, 1 through 9 is the exalted numbers, okay? So 1 through 9 are the basic numbers, and then 10, 11, 12 are the exaltation of the numbers, right? The higher wisdom. And so we have the 10, 11, 12 of the Sun, the Moon, and Air. The Sun, the Moon, the Sun, the reflection back to the Sun, right? The false light, and the Air is the space between them. Okay. I'm going to show you the other 3 cards that came up here, and then I'll just count the others. We have Lord Maitreya, which is 30 of the 4 of Wands. Okay. Intergalactic Council, which is 29. That's the Three of Wands. And then we have 33 of the Christ vibration, which is the Seven of Wands. So 3 different wands. I was like, are we going to get 3 in a row? We didn't get 3 in a row. We got 29, 30, and 33 of Lord Maitreya. 30 is the 4 of Wands, the 3 of Wands of Intergalactic Council. So the 4 of the Emperor and the 3 of the Empress, which were coming up specifically in this read, and then the 33 of the Standing Up for Yourself, and the Christ vibration of the of everything, of the cycle of the crucifixion and the rise and all that kind of stuff. And it's coming up as Buddha here. Pretty cool. And then the rest of the cards came out for me to count, but the one card came up first, and it's the Gold Ray of Christ, so it wanted to be seen. Number 5 is expansion. That's the connection, expansion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6. So there was 7 there with the Gold Ray of Christ. So it was 6 plus 1, which I got the other day twice, because then my daughter was away with her friends. 6 plus 1, and 6 plus 1 came up anyway the other day. And 6 is the love energy, plus 1, the catalyst. And then we had 3 and 3, so it's 6 again. 13. You can't stop at the end, which is 12. 12 is the culmination of the cycle, because it's you're ever expanding. There is no ending. We're infinite. So it's the 13 of death and rebirth. It's perpetual. There's always a connection into the next cycle. Just, could just be into another dimension. There is no end. Perfect. And I was getting the never-ending story. Real quick, I'll just read you what the other cards that came up here. Lord Cthulhu is 36, which is that 10 of Wands. Ascended Master Retreats, which is 49, which is the 9 of Cups. The Mahatma energy, number 6, of love and the lovers. Archangel Metatron's cloak, 51, is the King of Swords. Cosmic Heart, number 9, is the Hermit and the collective consciousness. And then animals that were one with the animal kingdom as well is number 2, the High Priestess. Oh, and I might use that as my picture today. I have a picture of my 3 ants sleeping all together in the middle of my counter. They're so cute. I never used to think that about ants, but once you become one with the animal kingdom, they're at peace with you. I don't have any problem with ants. I have 3 ants who live with me. They do dishes with me, and it's funny because if I see an ant that happens to get killed because they go into my coffee or something and then they drown in my coffee, I'll see 3 again, but no more. Just the 3 on my counter. They come to hang out with me. They're really funny, and they act like a dog. Like I went down the counter today to say hi to him, and he acted like a dog. Like kind of did that that play mode, what that a dog would do. It's very cool. So you have 13 here. I did show them all to you pretty carefully, so I'm not going to read them because you can read them on the screen if you want to. I'm gonna read the sun. That's what I'm guided to read. Okay. The sun is the navel chakra of this universe. It radiates the divine masculine principle onto us. Choosing this card suggests that the universe is calling on you to develop your qualities of decisive action, protecting the vulnerable, rational thinking, courage, and strength. Invoke the sun in order to light up your aura and fill you with renewed enthusiasm for life. This energy will enable you to help everyone feel welcome, enable them to feel welcome and empowered, which is an important ascension quality. Your guidance is to fill your aura with brilliant golden light. Be true to yourself and act decisively today. The affirmation is, I radiate golden light of decisive action today. All right, and then the past life deck. Take another deep breath. And again, this is March 16, 2019. Tower energy. March 16, 2019. For everyone watching, the best and highest good of all is concerned. What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? And we are asking Jesus and Mary Magdalene, what is our guidance today? 2 and 2. Biblical is reversed on the bottom. Okay, so letting go of hard work. Okay, it's no longer about hard work. It's about following the flow of the universe and your guidance. You don't have to push or force anything. And the farm is reversed as well. Because it's no longer, a farm is no longer what you think it is to be, right? Because it was about Fred Flintstone coming into the modern age, putting his shoes on. We keep some of both. We keep it simple, and yet it's okay to, to stay at 0 point. It's moderation of everything. Keep it simple, and yet you can have that perfect modern home on the farm with your greenhouse and whatever you want on your farm. What is that expression that I can't remember it for anything? It's not your mother's blah blah blah, whatever. What is that expression? Like, it's not the antiquated way of what you want it, of what you think it's going to be. You know what I'm saying. All right, so we have 2 cards and 2 cards. So the first 2 are imprisonment or slavery and wars and battles. Okay. Well, this is our past life deck, so if there are wounds that we still need to clear and that's coming up, that's something you might want to connect with. But definitely Civil War stuff, and Vietnam just came up today. So no one's been focusing on Vietnam. I haven't anyway, so that may be coming up for some to clear energies for, as well as any imprisonment or slavery. And also slavery was coming up with the what was it coming up? But anyway, just slaves, black slaves of that time also needs to be cleared right now. So these are different wounds that need to come up to be cleared. Back to the Future is coming up here. Like to use your portals to go back in time into Akashic Records, go into the Akashic Records. But also Back to the Future, right? So your extra dimensional connections, okay? You don't always have to just go to the past. You can go to the future for help as well. Don't keep yourself caged in a box. Think outside the box. Draw outside the lines. It's paralleling that to your energetic source extends outside the lines of your body, okay? Saying go outside the lines, not too far, but draw outside your lines. It's weird because in the Wars and Battles picture, I'm getting like a tripod for a camera. How many soldiers does it take to put a tripod together? I guess that's a joke for somebody. How many soldiers, how many Civil War soldiers? And it's coming up with the 3 from the Deer Hunter. How many soldiers does it take to put a tripod together? I'm getting to, and also the umbrella on the beach. You know how the wind always blows the umbrella away? How many soldiers does it take to put an umbrella into the beach? Because you have to look at the card while I'm saying that. It's pretty funny. I would not have thought of that at all on my own. And it's funny because there's 2 kids giggling over in the front of the picture as they're putting theirs in by themselves, and they're laughing because the grown-ups don't know how to do it. Pretty funny. Back to the Future. Okay, ask your kids for help. Okay, and then the other 2 are male, female, and which has been coming up a lot, and then scribe and writer, but they're both upright. Okay, so align your energies back to back. There's actually a reason for that, especially when you're upset with each other. to reintegrate. But this isn't your mother's relationship. This is a whole newfangled way of being. You're not going to be the two grumpy people in separate twin beds, right? That's the energy I'm getting here. It's not your mother's home. It's not your mother's marriage. It's not your mother's farm. It's not your mother's whatever. What that saying is, I can't think of what it is. It's about not being angry at each other, but sitting in meditation with each other. When you need your energies to integrate back to back is good. And journal. And seal it with a kiss, always. By candlelight, if possible. With a little trinket, maybe an ankle bracelet or a hand or a wrist bracelet. Something handmade to show that it's that you've thought of the other person. Something simple and small, but that shows that you know them. And make sure you put a coaster down on the book, on the good book, the dictionary. That's funny. The modern dictionary, the internet. Don't put your candle on the computer or your glass of water. And be careful with parchment paper around candles, okay? They're just saying, just be careful with all that stuff. Don't start a fire unless you're ready to put it out. Oh, and this was coming up, I'm getting this too, it was coming up from another reader that I happened to see yesterday about, I forget who it was, but someone was talking about old men putting their contracts and papers. I think it was Veronica from Intuitive Pathways, talking about putting her papers inside inside a book. And that's coming up again here with the dictionary and the parchment paper here. That you may find something inside of a book that you're looking for, maybe a will or something like that. Oh, and have they're telling me to show my glass, okay? Don't save your good stuff for later. Okay, I use these glasses for my juice in the morning. That's why it's dirty. It's got my juice in it. Okay, but so my good glasses with the hearts on it. Use what you love. Don't save things for special occasions is what I'm getting. Make every day a special occasion. That's there's a line from one of my songs too that they're bringing up. It's about, bring me a dream every day. I can't even think of the line in my own song, but. Oh, and write handwritten letters to each other. Those are the energies I'm getting. Oh, no tears today. Handwritten letters. Journey of love. I'm getting something. Now I'm getting Sound of Music again. Brown paper packages tied up with string. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. Okay, so, Journey of Love. Take a deep breath, guys. And again, this is March March 16, I keep forgetting the tower. March 16, 2019. For everyone watching, the best and highest good of all those concerned. What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? This is posed to Jesus and Mary Magdalene, please. What is your guidance? Oh, they're reminding me too. I didn't tell you about. Oh, good. What? That's it. A lot of cards here. Okay. So the bottom of the deck is Distant Shores, number 18. That's the underlying energy, this full moon coming up. And you see there's 4 reflections of the moon here expanding out. Alright, so I didn't bring up the numbers in the last deck, but we did in the first. Alright, so this deck was, it was just 2 and 2. 2 and 2 are 4, 4 and 4 are 8, 8 and 8 are 16, 16 and 16 are 32. So inchworm. The melodies. You have to look that up. We'll go far. I can't remember the lyrics. But it's referencing back to the 144 that I was doing and compounding those. 14 to 28 to 42 to 56, and then 4 to 8 to 12 by 4s, 4 by 4, and 2 by 2, 2 by 2. The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah. They're referencing my ants. But it's also referencing the twins. It's so funny. They're like, you know, they're connecting with me. The ants go marching 2 by 2. The little one stops. 1 is 2 is tie his shoe. 3, the little one stops to. What's 3? I can't think of what 3 is. 1 is sucking their thumb. 2 is tying their shoe, I think. 3 is whatever 3 is, because there's 3 cards. 3 came out separately, and then a bunch that I have to count. That I can count on you. You're my brother. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So 23 comes up again here. And 23 is that King of Wands, but also I told you it's like the moment before the hour. It's at 23 before 24, which is the end, which there is no end because we're infinity. So it's saying to stay at 23. There is no 24. And then we have 3 more, which is 26, which is the Page of Wands, which is a date. It's being inspired. It's being an impish child. To draw outside the line, stay outside the box. Just don't go too far. Okay, come back to 0 point. The cards that came out for you guys are 30, which is Towering Magnificence. All right, that's the Union energy. And then 64 is Central Awakening, which is the 10 of Swords. That's the purging cycles. And then we have 4 again. So 4 is coming up a lot about the cycles, right? The leap year and the seasons. Simplicity. And also Fred Flintstone to keep things simple. From this, there's things that you can take from each era and each season, right? So to keep the simplicity from the Stone Age and yet modernize it. And it can be very black and white, okay? And then I showed you the picture of the bird with the moon out during daytime. And is it the year of the pig? Because this always reminds me a little bit of a piglet. So Piglet and Pooh, Winnie the Pooh's coming up here. So we have 30 of the 4 of Wands, and then we have the 4 of Simplicity of the Emperor, and then we have 64 of the Sensual Awakening, or the 10 of Swords, which is that betrayal or ending of pain energy. And they're very different energies here. Okay? They're all completely different. One's black and white and simple. One is smooth circles, and the other one's kind of choppy, choppy energy. So someone who has anxiety issues is like that union. Someone's having anxiety about union, and then the Sensual Awakening with the 10 of Swords is all smooth. Everything's been smoothed out. The worst is over, so it's been overturned. Again, it's the looping energy, back to back, the 69. They're making a joke to align your energies. So there's all, the worst is over. Things are unfolding naturally. There's still some anxiety about coming into union. That towering magnificence. It's so overwhelming. So to keep it simple, like don't try to like have this first time of coming back together, something where you're trying to impress the other person. Like keep it simple, where you don't have to dress up to impress, you know, that kind of stuff. Keep it simple with nature, birds, piglets, grass. Now I'm getting hold on to what you got. Okay. So it's saying don't give everything you love away. If you need to, you know, if you only have so much money or whatever that is, sometimes you need to give up some money to get what you want. So it's the same thing. It's always a trade. But hold on to what you got. The stuff that you love, you don't have to give away the stuff that you love. And even if it's something that you have from another relationship, if it's something that constantly reminds you of that person, yes, you need to clear that energy. But it's something you love because it's something you wanted, you picked out for yourself, or whatever it is, you don't have to give everything away. Your energy, you can clear that with your energy. But at the same time, you want to keep things simple and light. You don't want to keep a lot of clutter around, and I can't talk really because I have a lot of like pictures and stuff like that around, but you know, you want to keep things easy to clean and simple, that in that respect. So you have less to argue about, they're saying, when you come into union. And when you wake up in the morning, to keep it simple. And cuddle. They're showing me like nibbling on your ear as I itch my ear. And dream. Dream in the clouds, those altocumulus clouds. The shadow comes to show you the beautiful clouds, to define them. Your shadow defines you. Do you want me to read all 3 of these? I'm going to read, I'm just going to read Simplicity since I'm at 144 already. So I guess it's 4 it is. At 144. Okay, Simplicity. Bow to that which is simple. You'll find the answers to your most complex issues and those questions that seem to defy the possibility of an answer. You'll find the solution now through simplicity. Live one day at a time. Have gratitude for whatever you possibly can, even if you're yet to understand why you should be grateful, because you cannot perceive the gift hiding within your struggles quite yet. Trust in the goodness of life, seeking to serve you and becoming the fullness of all that you are. Yes, beloved, even in your darkest night, light of love is serving you. The most sophisticated of problems can be resolved through a simple answer. Love, trust, have faith, be patient. Wait and you shall see. Let simplicity be. This oracle brings you an answer. Everything is going to be all right. Don't add fuel to the fire and look for ways to sort out complicated matters prematurely. Sometimes ingredients need to cook and percolate so that they can become a meal. The circumstances with which you are struggling will right themselves in time. Stay present and be patient. Pray in your own way. Meditation, time in nature, dance, and literally talk to the divine. When you need to take a clear, simple action, you will feel it. Relax and know it is all going to work out for the best. And the poem simply states, there is peace for one whose heart is open. Okay? Via crown. Okay, guys. Time to rise and be love. Rise and be love. Don't forget your water.